Kia ora, Graham Smith here again, just talking about task 4, assessment 4 for the NCAL vocational. So, task 4, it's all about diagnostic. Diagnostic tools, processes. What do you need to do? What evidence do you need to produce? Well, you need to use some appropriate tools. So let's get that on the mind map. And your tools might be different to somebody else's tools. These are tools for diagnostic assessment of literacy and numeracy. It can include the TEC's National Assessment Tool, but it doesn't need to. It can also be industry specific or other tools as negotiated or as appropriate. So if you're not sure, just have a chat to us. At least one of these tools needs to be contextualized. Okay, that's important because we're talking about embedded literacy and numeracy here. If you don't use the TEC's National Assessment Tool, then you need to supply 2 contextualized assessment tools. And these can be assessment tools or processes that you've developed yourself. Teacher-made tools are fine. We need to see some samples of the assessments, including the results for at least 2 learners. So I'll just write that down. 2 learners. Can be more than 2, but we need a minimum of 2. And hopefully these are the same 2 or more learners that we're tracking through the whole of this process for you. So next part of this, you need to create some literacy and numeracy focused individual learning plans. So let's write that down. Learning plans. These are literacy numeracy focused learning plans, and for your learners based on the diagnostic assessment results and analysis. For the learning plans, include at least 2 learning outcomes and timeframes. So I'll just write that down. Learning outcomes and timeframes. There we go. These should connect with your learning outcomes that you discuss further on at section 5 or task 5 if you're working through the assessments. And your learning outcomes, it's always good practice to negotiate these with your learners. Sometimes that's impossible, though, we realize that. So only one other thing to talk about here, options for specialist referrals. Specialist referral. Okay, there we go. Sometimes you need to refer your learners out to other people. This could include other organizations or other specialists. For example, if you have learners who have problems like dyslexia or disabilities of different kinds, you may be involved with someone else outside of your organization. So if you've identified some options there for specialist referral, make sure you include some evidence of that as well. There you go, those are the learning outcomes for task 4.